Thank you, Greg Woods. Good morning, Cityside. Hey, happy Sunday. You're welcome to stand. You're welcome to keep seated, whatever feels most comfortable for you. But I know for me, I am intending that on this Sunday, although the clouds are cloudy, that it is about to be a brighter day. When I close my eyes and think of you, and reminisce on the things you do, I can't imagine my life without you. It's like paradise now. I know that it's real. It's a mystery for someone to give their life just for me. Now I know love sets you free, makes me wanna love you, 'cause I never knew I could be so happy. That's right. And I never knew I'd be so secure because of love. Life has brand new meaning. It's gonna be a brighter day, brighter day, brighter day, brighter day. That's right, come on. Hey, I never thought that I would smile again. Never thought the dark clouds would end. Never thought that I would have a friend that would keep me, never leave me alone. Know that love is everything, the only thing that makes my heart sing. Now I know what real love means. It's everlasting, lasting, 'cause I never knew I could be so happy, yes. And I never knew I'd be so secure because of your love. Life has brand new meaning. Oh, it's gonna be a brighter day, brighter day, brighter day, brighter day, yes. And I never knew I could be so happy, yes. And I never knew I'd be so secure because of my love. Life has brand new meaning. Oh, it's gonna be a brighter day, brighter day, brighter day, brighter day. That's right. Nothing can compare to the joy love brings, an everlasting love affair. Love, my life will never ever be the same. I found the truth of love is always there. Truth is always there. Oh, it's gonna be a brighter day. Yes, I never knew I could be so happy, and I never knew I'd be so secure because of your love. Life has brand new meaning. It's gonna be a brighter day, 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 brighter, brighter day, brighter day, brighter day, brighter, 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 brighter day, brighter day, brighter day. All right. I expect you all to learn that chorus and sing with me next week now. I never knew. So we do have Reverend Darrell Jones in the house who will be teaching and speaking. But the other thing is I like to sing with this guy sometimes too. It's facts. And we've been doing that for years and years. So this is taking it back a little bit. This was a Kim Revere favorite. I know that's for right. This is called Use Me. Here we go.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I God was the Son, God is the Son, but God so much more than the earth or the stars or all of creation. God is creator, all in all, needing us to shine its light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do.
All right, come on. Command my hands, what
Must they do?
command my life?
It's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new.
And God needs us to shine His light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand
For you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do.
All right, we need you to clap now. Come on. And God needs us to shine His light. God needs us to shine His light. God needs us to shine His light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Reverend Darrell Jones giving me a little extra help from my friends. Yeah, baby.
On. I love me some Ricky Beckwith to start the morning. Thank you. So good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Amy Daniels. I want to welcome everyone to our Sunday celebration service. You don't know it yet, but today is Crazy Pants Day. Crazy Pants Day, but we're the only ones who got the memo. We literally walked in and we all had these crazy pants on. Crazy pants. So it's Crazy Pants Day here at Cityside. So thanks for being here with us. And if you're online and you're in the area, we invite you to consider joining us in person. And if you want to follow along in the Sunday bulletin, you can actually take one of the QR code is on your seat, or if you're online, there's a QR code for the Sunday bulletin. You can scan it, and it'll show you how to get to the Sunday bulletin if you want to follow along. We invite everyone to share the word about Cityside and share the live stream link so more people learn about us. You can do that on Facebook. You can also do that on YouTube. And at Cityside, we embrace new thought and wisdom teachings and are affiliated with Centers for Spiritual Living. We honor all paths and we provide a supportive community where you can explore your own spiritual path. Jonathan Hoffman is holding vigil for us remotely this morning. That is, he is sitting in a meditative state, which is to create a deeper experience of service for all of us. So we thank Jonathan for his remote service. And our December theme is Awakening to the Light in You. So this morning, Reverend Darrell Jones is going to share his talk, Who's Going to Win? And I said, okay, so like, give me a nugget. What's the nugget? He's like, love always wins. And I love that because I don't know about anyone else, but we all get to practice that at home, don't we? So I can't wait to hear what Darrell has to say. So thank you for being here with us today, Darrell. So now it's time for our community greeting. You get to greet one another. And so if you're online, you also get to greet one another by typing in the chat. And I just invite you to find someone you don't know and share with them what's the craziest piece of clothing you own, since it's Crazy Pant Day. Okay? So it's the craziest piece of clothing you own. Oh yeah, Paul's got a crazy tie going. Okay, I invite everyone to start making your way back to your seat. Hopefully you got a little chuckle, and if you don't have a crazy item of apparel, maybe it's time to go buy one. Okay. Beautiful to see everyone connect. So now it's time for us to speak our vision and mission out loud, and you can follow it along in the bulletin. If you're in the bulletin, you're in the room, you can say it out loud with me too. We envision an empowered community that is living in a world of unconditional love and action. Our mission is to create safe spaces to explore and deepen our faith, grow in spiritual relationship, and connect with our authentic nature. I always want to say, and so it is after that. So this last month, we've been talking about our pledge drive, which is going on right now. And really the intention of the pledge drive is just to start creating our vision for the future as a community, the vision of having a space that has more facilities. Today we were laughing about bathrooms. We'd like more bathrooms. And the other things that the community has told us that you would like to see, like youth and family and more spaces together and things like that. So I want to also thank everyone who's pledged already. A number of people have already pledged. So thank you so much for that. And now we're going to hear from one of our community members, Paul McHugh, about why he gives to Cityside. So I'm going to invite Paul and his crazy tie to come up. He got the memo. It just showed up as a tie.
It's too small to be in my pants, but it works. So I like the music. God needs me to shine my light. God needs you to shine your light. I've been a Set-Aside member for about 3 years. Prior to that at Bodie, prior to that at Unity. This morning I noticed that the happiest periods of my life, just happy, whatever you want to call happy, have always been when I've been inside of a community like that. Either this one or prior communities that I was a part of. I was at Humboldt Park Lagoon yesterday, walking around. It's a beautiful place. They've re-landscaped it with natural landscaping, places to sit. It's beautiful. And, like a kid, I threw a rock in the pool. And, I was watching the waves dissipate. And it only took about 5 seconds for the circle to expand to about 10 feet wide. One pebble, 10 feet wide, and that's an area from that big to 78.5 feet. I did check my 7th grade geometry math, and that is correct. For me, it's been not hard to tithe when I'm feeling wealthy in the world of form. And there have been times when I felt very wealthy in the world of form. And there's been times when I've not felt wealthy in the world of form, and I was either not tithing much or just not doing it at all. One's mind, i.e. my mind, can make the world a very scary place, can make a lot of fear, and there was a time in 2017 when my mind was totally in control of that for me. It envisioned death and saber-toothed tigers around every door. And at that point, I was so scared of everything that I didn't tithe, I didn't do squat, I didn't go to service, I sat at home. And it was a very tough time. I liken it to swimming in molasses. I could get an arm out of the jar for a little bit and reach out for a little help or a little for something, and it would help, and then I'd get back into my jar of molasses. I nearly drowned. And that's, of course, in a sea of abundance. And then one of the times I got to reach out of my molasses jar and work with a prayer coach here at Cityside, like a bolt of lightning hit me. It's an old saying that I was told early in personal growth and therapy, and for some reason it came to me one day, and it said, I have two daughters, and at that time they were like, let's say 10 and 12. And the old saying goes that for me, my daughters will likely have an unconscious inclination to choose their partner who is like me. That did not sit so well with me. I'm in the molasses trying to swim, and that's who my daughters might choose to be their partner? Somebody like that? That was it. Decision. Cut it off. That's not happening. It's not happening. I don't care what I say to myself. It is not happening. So that was the charge that got me, back to the practices that I've been doing for years. Taking classes, going to service, giving myself to men's groups here. And that is what, of course, got me out of the molasses jar back into life. So I'm very grateful for Cityside, for the spiritual practice, teachers, for prayer partners here, that it dissolved the molasses, to say the least. So they say it's good to take care of your home. It's good practice to take care of your body home. It's just good practice to take care of your home. And Cityside is my home, and inside of that are people and classes and music and men's groups and lots of things that I value. So that's very simply why I tithe. And I was reading a Judy Pico book yesterday, and she talks about part of her life, and she says, at the end of days, each of our days, no one's going to ask how much money you made, what beautiful songs you might have written, or what beautiful houses I built. Nobody's going to ask you anything. It's possible. But I know that I can say, in truth to myself, that I was in diligent practice for much of my life. But right now, I'm in diligent practice to increase my ability to give love. And that's enough.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. And he didn't tell you this part, but he was walking around Humboldt Park because he and Reverend Judy delivered the toys for the toy drive. So thank you for doing that. So now I'd like to invite Rob to come up to bless our service and lead us in.
Hello, I'm Rob Wozniak, one of your licensed spiritual practitioners. This morning, or today, I have a reading from Zoroaster, followed by a brief meditation. And finally, I'll be speaking a benediction on today's service. So, your good thoughts, good words, and good deeds alone will be your intercessors. Nothing more will be wanted. They alone will serve you as a safe pilot to the harbor of heaven, as a safe guide to the gates of paradise. So now I'm going to invite you into a time of stillness. Get comfortable in your chair and centered. And pay attention to the in and out motion of the breath. Simply noticing the mind and its chatter, setting it aside, coming back to the motion of the breath. So when you're ready, you can start bringing your attention back into this room as I speak a blessing over today's service. Just right here, right now, recognize that there is one source, one life, that is perfect divine order, that is love, that is wisdom, that is abundance. And I know I am one with this life, that this life lives within me. And as I know that's true for me, I know it's true for everyone gathered here today and watching online, that we are one with this power and presence that lives within us, moves in us and through us with perfect divine appointment. This wisdom, this love, this wholeness, And so from this place of oneness, from this place of standing in truth, I speak a blessing over today's service. I bless all the hearts and hands that have come together to create a space for our gathering today. I bless our tech team and the work that they do to make this experience possible, this broadcast. I bless the musicians that are here today that share their gifts with us so generously to create a space of wonder and celebration. I bless all those who participate at Cityside Spiritual Community, knowing that this teaching makes a difference in our lives and the lives of those around us. I bless the leadership of Cityside, knowing that they are executing on a vision. It's a divinely inspired vision of wholeness, of truth, of wisdom. And I speak a special blessing on Darrell Jones, our speaker today, knowing that he is divinely appointed as a channel for the wisdom of Spirit, that he carries a profound message today, that he has made himself available for the truth of the divine to flow through him, and that we are open and ready to receive this message. So grateful to be witness to this unfolding, calling it all good. Together we say, and so it is.
to me. Is love alive? Is love alive? Is love alive? Is love alive? Oh, is love alive? Is love alive? Is love alive? Oh, is love alive? 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 Thank you.
The answer is always yes to that question. Is love alive, right? Good day, everyone. Psyched to be here. Honored and humbled to kick off this month. Reverend Amy, I have to applaud you from some of the other work I do. We're coming up with themes and ideas and fresh ways of presenting some of the same principles can be challenging. Every month I feel like you challenge us that come to speak with, whether it's a book or a topic. So I'm grateful to kick off this month's theme, which is Awakening to the Light in You. And I want to read the description of the description that Reverend Amy sent out to all of us. She said, light and darkness are common themes in all great spiritual teachings. At this time of year, a number of these teachings celebrate the light, whether it is the coming of the light and the rebirth of the sun, which is celebrated in solstice, which is considered part of the pagan winter traditions, or the Hindi Diwali, which celebrates the light within us, which protects us from spiritual darkness, or the Jewish Hanukkah that celebrates the Festival of Lights, the dedication of the temple and the light which remained lit for 7 days, and the Christian Christmas, which celebrates the birth of the Christ consciousness, the awakening of the divine consciousness within. Light presents awareness and wisdom. We might say recognizing the light within is recognizing our true spiritual nature. So that's all good, right? Recognizing the light is recognizing our true spiritual nature. And then life happens. You get a phone call, something doesn't go your way, and there's this apparent darkness. So I always want to keep it real. This is about pragmatic spirituality, meeting life as it is, and not living in a lofty space that is not attached to the human condition. As much as I love to get lofty and go up into my spirit, I still have pains in my body. I still have conflict in my relationships. I still have concerns about the quantity of numbers in my bank account. I still have my emotional attachment to the relative warmth or coolness outside and what that does to my mood. So how do we embrace this pragmatic spirituality when we've got this nagging question that's always happening? Who's going to win? Who's going to win? We may not ask that specific question all the time, but we are constantly trying to get ourselves into a space of winning. And if we're trying to get into a space of winning, then there's a belief that we can actually lose. It's been really funny in social media over the past, 5 years at least. People take pictures and they type up the words winning. It's like, I'm eating this amazing meal. I'm winning at life now that I'm eating this amazing meal. I'm winning at life now that I'm taking this pose and I'm looking this certain way. Winning, 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 winning. There's nothing wrong with it, but the very fundamental idea of winning sets us up for dualistic thinking of winning and losing. And this is kind of the perpetual state of the human condition: light and dark, win and lose, good or bad. Depending upon your age and when you were born, but I think most of us can't get away from it now in the pop culture of movies. Anyone seen Star Wars? Heard of it, this thing, right? Is it the good side of the Force or the bad side of the Force? The Lord of the Rings? Even romantic comedies. Is love going to win here? Every single thing that we engage in is set up in this dualistic thing of winning and losing, good and bad, right and wrong. Is there winning or losing in our living? What if we could suspend that need to win? What if we could step away from the edge of oversimplifying this complex world that we live in? There's a lot of emphasis on right and wrong in our world, and it is completely, I believe, a little out of control right now. Whether it is social media posts of hate, and there's just a lot of duality. There's an expectation in that space that there will be some sort of final winner. But what if there wasn't any final winning? I mean, to Paul's point, he said at the end of life, it doesn't matter how many houses you've sold and built. It doesn't matter how much money is in here and there. It's how you lived, how you gave. And there's still no winning in that. It's just in your living. So what would life be like if we didn't have this incessant need to embrace winning? Would we live a life that is right here and right now, the only place you can actually be? What could you do? What could life feel like if you let go of this need to win? I think that we would live a life now that is embracing the light of spirit to the best of our ability. In dark times or in light times, our thoughts, words, and deeds are everything. As we become more conscious of these three things, our thoughts, our words, and our deeds, we can claim and reclaim the power of the universe, the power of God, and the power of light, and use it for the good of ourselves and of all life. So before I want to introduce again the text reading from Zoroaster, and I want to give a little context in case you're not familiar with Zoroaster. This comes out of ministerial training. I was grateful to have like an historic review of religion in the world as opposed to a singular view of how one religion formed. And Zoroastrianism is something that was a religion said to be one of the first monolithic religions, even before Judaism, in the area that we now call Iraq or Persia. And the reason I was drawn to this is that it's one of the first introductions of this idea of a battle between light and dark, good and bad. And many believe that actually the notion of heaven and hell that came into Judaism, Christianity, and Islam was influenced by Zoroaster and Zoroastrianism. And if you're like, wow, Darrell, you're kind of nerding out and going way out on a limb there with this, you probably have more connection to Zoroaster and his writings and teachings than you believe or that you even know. There's Nietzsche wrote a book called Thus Spoke Zarathustra. It's a fictional history of himself and how he came to these realizations. He was considered a prophet. Then Richard Strauss wrote one of the most popular pieces of music called Also Sprach Zarathustra. And then there's this band from the 80s that I really like called Queen. Anyone? Yeah? And there was a movie called Bohemian Rhapsody. So the family of Freddie Mercury was originally from this Persian area where they practice Zoroastrianism. And there's a scene where he comes back right before the Queen does Live Aid, and he says, Dad, we're doing this concert, and we're not taking any money for it. And he looks at his father, who had been questioning how he was living his life, and he said back to him these kind of pillars of Zoroastrianism: good thoughts, good words, good deeds. You taught me well, Dad. One of the cars maybe you've driven in your life called a Mazda. Anyone ever heard of a Mazda? The naming of that car brand was influenced by Zoroastrianism, because the light, the grand ultimate god that was recognized in Zoroastrianism, was called Uhura Mazda, and the Japanese wanted to come out with this new car and bless it with light so that people would want it. Crazy! Zoroaster, like thousands of years later, influencing marketing. But I digress. Let's get back to the text. So, your good thoughts, good words, and good deeds alone will be your intercessors. Nothing more will be wanted. They alone will serve you as a safe pilot to the harbor of heaven, as a safe guide to the gates of paradise. You know that I like to nerd out on words, but the power of this statement: your thoughts, your good words, and good deeds alone will be your intercessor. And this idea of an intercessor is very, very popular in a lot of the major world religions, right? We have priests, we have gurus, we have rabbis, we have pastors, we have ministers that are there as intercessors almost, that they interact on your behalf and help you find your way to God. But here, radical Zoroaster says, no, wait a minute. Your thoughts, your words, and your deeds is all that you need. Those are the intercessors. Those are the things that give you access to the divine. This sounds a little bit like New Thought, right? The creative process. It starts within and it moves out. Your thoughts, your beliefs create your what? Reality. Dang, Zoroaster had it back. But here's the thing. You can take out the word good and just put your thoughts. Your words lead to your deeds. So your bad thoughts can lead to those bad words and to those bad deeds, the things and the actions and the behaviors in our life that we know don't serve us. This creative process is very powerful. So at this time of year, I find that we put more emphasis on light individually. Because of the holidays, we do it more collectively. We talk about it more. Our internal, personal, and our internal collective dialogue is focused more on it. And our deeds, right? Right now, my wife was going to come here for service today, and she's caught in the Toys for Tots traffic. All the motorcycles that drive, so I don't know when she's going to get here. I think it's today. But there's this giving nature. Everyone gives. There's more attention given to homelessness. There's more attention given to hunger. And that's a wonderful thing. But still, all of this giving sits against darkness. I'm floored by the news apps that I have on my phone. Rarely is there anything on there that gets presented that is light. It is all dark. So-and-so just died. So-and-so people just got into a car accident. Such and such just happened in this country that's causing disgrace, whatever it may be. Whether it's our own darkness and sadness, or the loneliness and isolation that's been fostered by this pandemic, or the death of a loved one, or the loss of something else in your life. Maybe there's just an overall sense of feeling disconnected from life and from purpose and from meaning. When the light is present, its contrast is always palpable. Would you agree? That's neither good nor bad. And that was one of the things I took away when I studied Zoroastrianism, that it wasn't this idea of needing to win over darkness. It was just that light and darkness was in a constant struggle with one another. And at times, one was more apparent and one was not. But what was needed, the way that Zoroastrianism invited the practitioner to be in relationship to this ever-going battle of light and dark, the light needs our thoughts and our words and our deeds. But still, I know we find ourselves asking that question, where did the light go? Especially when we're looking one way and all we can see is darkness. The thing to remember, and I think what this time of year attempts to remind us of, definitely if you think about the holiday of solstice, when it's the darkest ever, one of the reasons that this holiday came about was to remind people that light is returning. That light is coming back. That light is on its way. It's one of the reasons why we have these things called Christmas trees and evergreens that we hang around, because all is not dead. There's things still growing to remind us that the light is always there. It just needs our attention. The light exists whether it receives our attention or not. Think of potential energy for anyone who gets into physics at all. So right here and right now, this pen that I'm holding up has lots of potential energy. As soon as I let it go, the kinetic energy comes into motion. That's light. There is always potential. But the light cannot be realized until it has an avenue of expression, until it has a portal to shine through. The power of the expression of light is only realized through our attention and only through our thoughts, our words, and our deeds. So this week, I invite you to go out and turn on the light switch yourself. Unleash that potential energy of light, love, peace, hope, joy, and oneness. Be the light that you seek. Engage that creative process and remember that it starts within and moves out. There's a great, what do I do with my pen? Here it is. There's a great section from the Science of Mind text that I want to kind of pivot our turn to now. And it's about faith as it relates to light and the light that's always there. Ernest Holmes wrote, "Since faith is a quality unconfined to age or station, it may be ours today as much as it has been any person's at any time. We are not going through a harder time today, a longer or darker night than has ever been experienced before." Let me read that again, because a lot of people think we're going through something harder now than what's ever been done before. You may think that there's something about your life that is harder now than what anyone else has ever experienced. Hear these words. We are not going through a harder time today, a longer or darker night than has ever been experienced before. It only seems darker because we have lost faith, the beacon of light. If one will have faith in oneself, faith in their fellow humans, in the universe, and in God, that faith will light the place in which you find yourself. And by the light of this faith, we all will be able to see that it is all good. And the light shed by this faith will light ways for others. We become conscious of darkness only when we are without faith or without light. For faith is ever the light of our day and the light on our way, making that way clearly visible to us, even when to all others it may be beset with obstacles and ongoing challenge. So that word beacon, as I flash my hands, the beacon of light, we have this imagery that ships used out on the rough waves of the ocean, this beacon of light that would give them a way of guiding their path. All they need to stay safe is that light. And they don't even have to embrace the light. They just need to see it off in the distance and trust that it is leading it the right way. Recall and reclaim that beacon within yourself. That beacon, I would say, with science of mind or with spirituality is prayer. Ernest Holmes goes on to say that treatment or prayer opens up the avenues of thought. It clarifies the mentality, removes the obstruction of thought, and lets in the light. Prayer, treatment, lets in the light of truth. It removes doubt and fear and the realization of the presence of Spirit and is necessary while we are confronted by obstacles and struggles. We already live in a perfect universe, but it needs to be seen mentally before it can become a part of our experience. Good thoughts, good words, good manifestation. Good thoughts, good words yield good deeds, yield good action. Good deeds give outlet and expression to the light, the inherent light within all of life. So there's lots of ways to pray. There's lots of ways to treat. But to close today, I want to focus on gratitude. Now, we just had that as our last holiday, right? But gratitude, man, it's amazing. It really is, if you allow the light of gratitude to transform you in the moment. I've read this quote so many times. It has been a part of my spiritual healing and wellness throughout my journey over the past 20 plus years of awakening to the spirit of light within. And it comes from Melanie Beattie. And oftentimes it's shortened. I'm going to give you the whole quote because it's really beautiful to lead us into our practice of gratitude. She writes, "Say thank you until you mean it." We could stop there. That's powerful because a lot of times we don't, right? Say thank you until you mean it. Thank God, thank life and the universe for everyone and everything sent your way. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. It turns problems into gifts, failures into successes, the unexpected into perfect timing, and mistakes into important events. It can turn an existence into a real life, and disconnected situations into important and beneficial lessons. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Gratitude makes things right. So if you want to win, if you want to be right, practice gratitude because it makes everything right. Gratitude turns negative energy into positive energy. There is no situation or circumstance so small or large that it is not susceptible to gratitude's power. We can start with who we are and what we have today. Apply gratitude, then let it work its magic. Say thank you until you mean it. If you say it long enough, you will believe it. Today, I will shine the transforming light of gratitude on all the circumstances of my life. And if it feels like a lot to try to figure out how to say gratitude, I'll give you the simple directive of the medieval monk Meister Eckhart, who said, if the only prayer you ever say in your life is thank you, it will be enough. Last thing, I want you to not only let it be in your thoughts and in your words, but let thank you and gratitude be in your deeds, in your actions. I was inspired by a dear friend. We were out for breakfast the other day. We were wrapping up paying the bill, and he said, "You know what?" to the waitress, "Just would you bring me the bill of someone else in the restaurant? I want to take care of it." Paid the bill, and we left. Nothing said to the other person, no recognition, none of that. But in that moment, I didn't even make the choice. It was them that was doing it. I found myself in a space of gratitude. Their gratitude impacted me. That light influenced my thoughts, my words, and my deeds. So embrace this gratitude practice. You will give yourself the gift, but it also shines the light of this season and the light of every day, the light of God for all to see. Start with good words and good thoughts in your mind, and then step out into good deeds. So let's close with a little bit of practice here. I invite you to take a nice deep breath in and out and bring your attention to your heart space. Whether you touch your physical heart with your hands or not, let your awareness come to the heartbeat, the physical heart. Let it come to the embodied, transcendent heart, the heart of generosity, the heart of kindness and compassion, the heart of love and truth and wisdom. The great mindfulness teacher Sharon Salzberg once said, "The difference between misery and happiness depends on what we do with our attention." Love and light can always win in the moment, depending upon what you do with your attention. Let gratitude focus your attention today, in this moment, by saying these very words: I am grateful for this moment. Thank you. I am grateful for this moment. Thank you. A gratitude that is not attached to an external circumstance. A gratitude from a realization of the presence of light as you, in you, and around you in this moment. Let light win, one moment at a time, through your thoughts, through your words, and through your deeds. Here and now, what I recognize is the power and presence of light. The power and presence of the universal light of love, of creativity, of freedom, of wholeness, of abundance and sufficiency, of connection, of interconnection, of depth. Oh, how great is this light! And I know that this light is ever present. This light never goes out. It never goes away. All it needs is our attention. So let us turn our individual and collective attention towards this light right now. Let us not only see the light, but let us be a reflection of the light in our thoughts and words and deeds this week. Let us bring the light from within our very essence out into all of our relationships, whether they be work relationships or family relationships or friendships. Let us bring the light of sufficiency as we look at our bank account and make decisions about our financial well-being. Let us bring the light of love out from within as we ask for something that we need from a partner, from our children, from a friend. Let us be the light that the world is and also seeks. For the light is here. The potential energy of the divine is always here. It just needs that outlet, and let it find its way. Right here, in a moment of gratitude. Thank you. Releasing this word, releasing our gratitude, releasing our light into the action of manifestation. And so it is. Amen. Who's going to win? All right. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Darrell. Good thoughts, good words, good deeds. That's your thoughts, your words, your deeds. It's going to kick around in my head. It's going to hold me accountable, so thank you. So, Cityside is a community-supported organization, and each week we practice conscious giving together. I was sitting listening. I've known Darrell for 17 years. We actually went to ministerial school together. And I actually found a picture of us at the first Revelation conference we ever went to the other day. We all are older. Can I just tell you, it was a long time ago. But, you know, that to me epitomizes spiritual community. Like this group of people, you know, some of them have spread out elsewhere in the world now that have been on the journey at different points in time. But like the reason I support Cityside is because of that. Because I need to be brought back to my spiritual center every week. And there's something about being together in community that is very powerful. So you have several ways that you can give. If you have the QR code at your seat, you can scan it and it'll show you how to give online. Easiest thing to do is text to give to 312-757-8111. But if you're in the room, you can also put it in the giving box, which is to my left. So just invite you to turn within and let's bless our gifts together and share our giving affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. So if you're joining us for the first time, we especially want to welcome you and thank you for being here. You can just subscribe to our newsletter by following the link in the bulletin or by visiting our website. Special thanks to our Sunday team. It really does take a village here. Eric, Todd, Keith, Dom, Greg, Nora, Tiffany, Jeffrey, Rob, Jonathan, Paul, Willie, Paige, and Reverend Linda, and of course, Reverend Darrell. So thank you. Next week, Reverend Linda will be continuing our series, Awakening the Light Within. And consider joining us early for meditation at 10:15. It's a lovely way to get centered. But until then, have a blessed week. And remember, good thoughts, good words, good deeds.
Thank you, Reverend Amy. Thank you, Reverend Darrell Jones. Everybody, why don't we stand up? Those of us here, those of us out there, you know this one, sing along. Come on, speaking of light, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Yes, come on. I'm gonna take this light around the world and what? I'm gonna take this light around the world and what? Yes, I'm gonna take this light around the world. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I'm gonna let it run, blow it out. I'm gonna let it shine. I won't let anybody blow it out. I'm gonna let it shine. I won't let anybody blow it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Come on, everybody, sing it. This little light of mine, what? I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yes, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Take that one more time. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. One more time. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, yeah. Happy Sunday, everyone. Have a beautiful rest of your week.